to me, it just looks like insecurity. A guy that's like, yeah, I like to suck dick sometimes. There's a lot more confidence because that's a lot to fucking say.
Okay. So you're not into like alpha men, big strong men. You're more.
I don't think they're big and strong. I think they're really pathetic.
You think who's pathetic?
All of them.
Yeah, Tate specifically.
I think all of them are like they seem extremely insecure to me, and I like security. I like confidence in a man, and I don't think any of them are very confident.
Really, because that's the exact opposite approach that
about what they want. Yeah, they want to look really confident, but
So
like the way they act, like if you look at the situations they end up in and like how they speak, no, it sounds very insecure to me.
So you look at someone like Andrew Tate, you know, who's sort of the poster child of the red pill space. Obviously, it was Kevin Samuels for a long time. Rest in peace. You look at someone like him, or even like Myron, or any of these guys. You think that they're insecure?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because
I feel like
I've heard a lot of things, but insecure is not on the list.
We took this as an example. If there's a guy that's like, get away from me, like that's gay, bro. Like if it really feels like that makes you less masculine, like ever thinking about being in like even like hugging a dude is like, if you feel so bad about it, I think there's a lot of insecurity that comes out of it.
Who feels sad about it? What do you mean feel?
If they feel bad about it, if they feel so scared of like coming off as gay or anything like that, and they're like, no, bro, like to me, it just looks like insecurity. A guy that's like, yeah, I like to suck dick sometimes. There's a lot more confidence because that's a lot to fucking say.
Okay,
you know?
Feel sad about it. What do you mean feel?
If they feel bad about it, if they feel so scared of like coming off as gay or anything like that, and they're like, no, bro, like to me, it just looks like insecurity. A guy that's like, yeah, I like to suck dick sometimes. There's a lot more confidence because that's a lot to fucking say.
Okay,
you know?
that is so
like, in
backwards, Melina. So
It's
a
not very backwards at all.
who's like,
I
yo,
think
bro,
it's
I'm
a
not
lot
gay. Keep
forward.
that shit elsewhere. That's insecure. But a guy who's like, yeah, I'll suck some dick. That's secure.
It doesn't have to be sucking dick, but it could be like
you said
but
it,
let's say that a guy is like, I love you, man, like, or if they're like showing emotion, or if they're even crying, like at some point they get really emotional about something, because that's something that a lot of men are having an issue with too, like showing some sort of emotion or crying about something, you know.
I think what she's saying is men are insecure because of how they will look to other men by acting a certain way. That makes sense. But dog, like you say that fucked up shit she said around the majority of men out here, they gonna be looking at your ass crazy. I get it, like a motherfucker that is bisexual or whatever, he's confident in who the fuck he is. He has no issue saying he sucked dick, but that was for that to be her first thing to fucking say. That shit blew my fucking mind. That's why I had to like allow her to finish saying what she was saying, because that literally made no fucking sense. Cause I know like her dude, like don't Destiny be sucking dick and shit too. Like they got some weird shit going on. You know what I'm saying? But I don't see how that ties in to her seeing the red pill space as insecure. Like, you secure in who the fuck you are, and if this ain't you gonna call this shit out, and it's not gonna, that's not you, right? For those men out here who don't show emotion, who don't cry, and whatever the fuck, and they live comfortably in that space, that's cool. But like, you gotta know yourself. You gotta know yourself. So I mean, with that, I see what she's saying, and I would agree with that. And like, if you are pretending to be something that you're not, in fear of how people will look at you if you actually be who you are, then yeah, you're insecure. That's a whole entirely different thing, which has nothing to do with crying, which has nothing to do with being soft, which has nothing to do in any of that shit, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I would tend to agree that most motherfuckers out here are not confident enough in themselves to be who they are, and that needs to be fixed. And the red pill space can cause a toxic environment for these types of individuals, because the red pill space tends to try to configure a certain type of man, like a type A alpha, stoic, non-emotional type of motherfucker, and this type of man tends to win. But every man don't live in that fucking space. You know, valid, bro. Whew, bruh, but damn, dog, damn.
Especially these guys are they would never ever do that. If they do, I think that takes a lot more. And if they can like be like, no, it's okay to be upset sometimes.
Well,
if I do lose my job, it's okay for me to be upset. It's a lot more confidence.
It has nothing to do with confidence though. If that's literally them doing what they say that they're gonna do, right? don't show emotion, whatever the fuck, and they live fine in that space, then they're secure. You know what I'm saying? They strong. They're fucking sturdy, right? You know what I'm saying? Has nothing to do with being insecure, right? And if you one of these men out here who need to cry that shit out, cry that shit out. But you not this type of fucking man that they're out here advocating for. These red pill figures, Fresh and Fit, Sneeko, Andrew Tate, all these motherfuckers, shit, me included, we tend to promote for a certain type of persona, a certain type of man. That's the man that's this masculine ass type A alpha motherfucker, right? The shit that she's saying men are insecure for not doing is what these type of men just don't typically do.
To be clear, you can show emotions as a guy, but that doesn't mean you have to be emotional. There is a difference.
Well, for a lot of these red pill guys, they say like
right?
you can never be emotional around your woman because they might leave you immediately.
Yeah, that's an insecurity right there.
Yeah, I agree, but I mean, to an extent, yes. If you're just a quiet,
it's not even that fucking difficult, bro. It's not that difficult. Like, Fresh and Fit say that shit because they think you're better off not showing emotion in front of your woman, because it can result in some shit like your girl may lose respect for you, your girl may get dry because she's seeing you cry and shit like that, right? So don't cry in front of your woman. I can see how that's a fucking problem, because you're telling men not to cry because of how your woman may view you. And that is insecurity, because you're not doing something because you're afraid of how it's going to affect your woman. You should never be in that type of position ever in a relationship. Like, you need to do what you need to do, right? And however that shit looks, and being confident enough to navigate through this life the way you need to for you to feel comfortable. If you run into a woman that has an issue with that, that's not the woman for you. So you shouldn't be doing anything. You should not let the potential response of a significant other dictate how you move, right? Right? Like, if you got to sit here and say, I'm not gonna cry because she may lose respect for me. No, that's insecure shit, right? A motherfucker who doesn't cry does not sit there and think, oh, I can't cry because of how she gonna view me. It's just, I'm not crying because I just don't fucking cry, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's not this in depth. And big picture, like, everybody is different. You know what I'm saying? It's you gotta know who you are and who you with, and hopefully you with somebody that can move with you. But I get it. Like, Fresh and Fit, they promote for a certain type of man. You got all these different types of men with different types of personas, different types of personalities, trying to fit themselves within this mold of a man that may not be them. And that can be toxic, bro, because a man cannot be who he's not. If you ain't stoic, you ain't stoic. If you soft, you just soft. It is what it is, bro. It is what it is. But the biggest thing I want to say regarding what the fuck they just said is that, yeah, if you are out here worrying about how people are gonna look at you because of what you're doing, that's insecure, right? If it's naturally you, like, I'm not saying like you out here doing some crazy shit and you know that what you're doing is looking wild, but like if you're a crier, it's you, and you worried about how motherfuckers gonna view you with crying, then I mean, fuck them. You got to do what you got to do to make sure you better, right? And if you hold that shit in, it's gonna fuck you up. You got to know yourself. You know what I mean? Hope that makes sense, bro. If you come to a point in life where you need to do whatever the fuck it is, cry, scream, talk to her, whatever the fuck, and you are worried about how the fuck she gonna view you because of what you need to do, she ain't the one for you.
Crying whiny bitch.
No one's saying
that.
A lot of these people,
However,
wait, real quick, let me restate. A lot of these guys say that you should never, not a single time, never risk showing emotional vulnerability to a woman.
Dangerous.
That's what they'll say.
But that depends on your relationship. Whether you're red pill, blue pill, I don't give a fuck what pill. If your girl gets cancer and your dad died and you can't cry and express your emotion, that's a problem, bro. That's a robot. Nobody's a robot.
Yeah, okay? I would agree. Yeah, I'd agree. I'm just repeating what they've said.
I know.
I think it was a time even when I was on Fresh and Fit, and I want to feel like there was another guy to the right of...
I know. I'm trying to think of last time I fucking like boo-hooed or some shit, man. It'd probably have to be like... I'm not naturally... I'm just not like that. I'm not built that way. And I say that to say, like, if my woman ever saw me crying, the world must be ending. You know what I mean? So she said like somebody got to die if I'm crying because it's just something that doesn't happen. It's naturally me. It's not. I mean, but I would never say that you need to be the way that I am. You got to be you need to be the way you are. You know what I'm saying? Like every man is fucking different, bro. So I can see how that is toxic. There's gonna be some lonely ass motherfuckers thinking that they can move this way. Like it sounds good to be this stoic ass tough motherfucker who's unbothered and shit, bro. But most men are not like that. Most men are not like that. You're trying to force yourself to be something that you're not. That's the fucking problem.
Yeah, and they were saying don't ever show
yeah, and I think I literally
don't ever cry,
anything,
ever.
if anything happens to your parents' time, it's like if you risk it, your woman will look at you differently.
Anything that says ever, always, all, zero, it's such a far-fetched hyperbolic comment. It's not a binary thing where it's like never cry or always cry. It's like, well, sometimes shit happens and you need to fucking show emotion.
I think
that's
the problem
that's humanity.
The problem is the things that they fixate on show an error in the thought process. Whether or not you actually kind of hinted at it, whether or not you cry around a woman has no bearing on how that woman views you. It's going to be what is your general emotional stability.
I
right?
think I agree to an extent, but I also
I disagree with him. It's person to person. There's some women out here, if you fucking cry around their ass, they're gonna look at you and go like, get the fuck out of here. That's too broad of a statement to describe that scenario. Plenty of situations out here, plenty of times out here, if a motherfucker looks too vulnerable around they woman's gonna question their fucking manhood, bro. Especially nowadays with these fucking tough ass, goddamn boss, bitch ass, masculine ass women. What? You cry around me, bitch? It's curtains for you, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Whether or not you cry around a woman has no bearing on how that woman views you. It's going to be what is your general emotional stability.
I think I agree to an extent, but I also disagree because it depends what you're crying about.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It speaks to your general emotional stability. If your father dies,
yes,
like Jesus Christ, of course you're going to have a reaction to that.
Okay.
But if you're crying every single day because like your boss was rough at work and you come home and you're like a breakdown, then obviously.
Okay, so they're saying the same
But that
thing.
doesn't have to do with like you crying. People fix it. It just has to do with the fact that this guy is like super emotionally unstable.
Yeah, I got
There's
you.
levels to this.
Yeah.
You know, there's levels to this game. So like, you know, father dying, girl gets cancer, 1 through 10, those are 10s.
Yeah.
Feel free to cry at a 10. But, you know, if you ordered the hamburger and they brought you a cheeseburger and it has cheese and you start crying, that's a 1. If you're crying there, homie, like, get it together.
That's like you need therapy. You know,
exactly.
That's what that is. Yeah,
well, I would
agree.
say anything 1 through 8, if you're crying, it's like, that's pretty fucking...
But the thing about all these red pill guys that we were mentioning are the guys that would say never ever show emotion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think...
And that is an insecurity. That is an insecurity.
But anytime that you use the word ever or all or everyone, that's where you're going to lose an argument, whatever it is. Because there's always exception to the rule. Okay?
Right, they keep saying the same thing over and over and over again. But look, I understand their perspective. I'd have to go back and watch a fucking Fresh and Fit video. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't use what she said verbatim, man. But if she had said like that, like don't cry because your woman will look at you as a bitch. That's insecure. You're not gonna cry because you're worried about how the fuck she's gonna feel about it. And that's insecure as fuck. It ain't about telling someone not to cry. It's just naturally who you are. If that's you got to get that shit out that way. That's you, and hopefully you with a girl that will be cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't teach stoicness. You can't teach how to control emotions. You can't teach that. Everybody's fucking different, bro. And hopefully you can navigate through this world, you know, as best as you can with, you know, what you're equipped with emotionally, right? But this was a dope conversation, bro.